right. So, hi everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Curly Headed Old Soul podcast. My name is India and I'm here with Cheyenne.
Nice.
And we're back with another episode. Can I just tell you how much, besides all of the technical difficulties we had during the first premiere of our episode, I guess the audio we did okay, but the visual component was having a lot of issues processing. So, but we apologize, for some kind of misinformed times because we were just playing it by ear. We were trying to get everything up in a timely manner. But thank you all for the support. And we really thank you for listening and tuning in, to the premiere if you did, and also just watching in general. So we are really appreciative of that. Want to send a special shout out to Kamani for the tweet.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle. What's his name again? I can't remember his name, but what was the character that he was playing? What's his Tyrone?
I don't even remember. There you go.
That gift sent me. It was hilarious. It made my entire day. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. This thing for feeding for our voices. And I was a bundle of nerves for our first episode and show with Cheyenne. So special shout out to you. Thank you for the support. We love it. So this week, we're actually getting into the swing of our podcast. So we start off with new segments, and we want to just hip you guys to what's been on our radar, and probably what's been on your radar on social media, Twitterverse and Instagramverse, whatever you dabble in, or if you dabble in both, that's great. But some general entertainment news in and outside of the Black community. It's a lot going on. So we kind of just want to give you like 5 from each of us, actually. So five pieces of news that have been on our radar that I think you guys should know and that you should probably read into, or even if we can help clarify some situations, that would be great. And then, the topic of the week, we had to postpone our state of R&B situation. We had to postpone that a little bit further down the line because of the tragedy that happened in Texas with Travis Scott's Astroworld. And we really wanted to talk about concert safety today. And Cheyenne's got a concert coming up, so she'll be able to share some insight, on what her thoughts are and what she hopes to see during her concert. So, that will be our podcast for today. And hopefully we'll have State of R&B coming up pretty soon. And maybe we can bring on some special guests, who even knows? So
that would be good to have some other voices included.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to that. But for now, we're going to get into our state of, Black culture, and was the state of social issues a little bit, not too much. We don't want to dabble in too much political things. This is not a political podcast, but when things are unjust, we will speak on it. But for the most part, we're just going to get into some news from Cheyenne. She'll share some things and I'll share some things, and then we can get into our concert safety discussion. So so take it away, Cheyenne. What you got for us this week? What you got?
There's lots on Maxwell. So we'll start with the first thing. So last night, the Soul Train Awards happened in Harlem. Mm-hmm. So Maxwell received the Legend Award at the 2021 Soul Train Awards, which will be airing next Sunday, which is November 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's the first piece of news that I have. I got to look at some of the pictures from the... I
did too. I saw some this morning.
It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So that's my first
getting his flowers
tidbit. Oh my gosh, I know. That's my little tidbit of news. And India, you can go ahead and say your next one.
Well, first I want to clarify, that was at the Apollo Theater,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Is that what it's okay? Oh, so that's definitely going to be a soulful night. That's where it all started. That's where it goes down. Last week we had, I'm going to get into my Janet Jackson news because she is hot on the headlines right now. Justice for Janet Jackson is well deserved right now. The previous week she made an appearance, looking so beautiful, so elegant, very Afrocentric queen looking, just gave everything. She gave us homage to the Control era with her black head wrap. It was very, giving very much that with, braids. But she made an appearance for the first half of Dancing with the Stars, and the Dancing with the Stars did a Janet Jackson tribute night. So it was amazing. The performances were all right. There was a little bit of dispute going on Twitter with them not using copyrighted music, and it was cover songs, and a lot of people speculated that somebody, I'm not going to name the celebrity, was doing the cover music, so you might have to go and dig on Twitter for that. But it was really great homage to her. I loved Tyra Banks. They had a little bit of a reunion because she used to go on Tyra Banks' show all the time. So it was great to see her dress up. She had some amazing outfits for Control and stuff like that. But it was she did Control and If, but the night was amazing regardless. The dancers didn't really give it their all. JoJo gave it her all, but a lot of the dancers didn't give it their all. Iman should have scored better because, Tiana Taylor's a huge Janet Jackson fan, and he did really good with Rhythm Nation. They had to do like the salsa to Rhythm Nation. So that was pretty good. But I love JoJo and Jenna's performance to Feedback, giving ode to discipline, which doesn't get a lot of light, but Feedback was a really, really extremely popular hit, is what I learned in spaces when in dance classes. So when I was in a space with some jam fam. So yeah. And if you want some highlights, you can definitely search up on the internet and see the list of the songs that were performed. We got If, Made for Now, Anytime, Any Place, Escapade, I believe. It was a lot of Janet's music spread across the board, which was great up into present, but it just wasn't her copyrighted music. And like I said, Janet showed up for the first half in the introduction, and it was pretty late because she's in London, so it was pretty late over there. It had to be about 1, so it was nice just for her to show up and be appreciated, to be honored. So that's what happened. And then we'll get into the malfunction, the dress down of Janet Jackson that premiered on FX and Hulu this past Friday night. We'll get into that a little bit later because there's a lot to share. But back to you, Cheyenne.
And other Maxwell news. This is like Maxwell week or something. But so it was announced that he departed with Columbia Records after 25 years. He has now he signed a deal with BMG and under his own company, which is called Muse Inc. And Muse is his alias, which is often seen in the writing credits of his albums. So that's like a huge deal. It's kind of like the next era of his career, I would say. And so that's what I have. Not too much on that, but yeah, that's just the next step of his career, the next phase. And I'm really proud of him to see where he's going next.
Yes. I mean, like, I think B&G's clientele is like, they have Bruno Mars for publishing. They have a lot of our David Bowie.
Lenny Kravitz too.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz, exactly. So there's a lot of big names under their publishing, which means they must take care of their artists very well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him go in a great direction, and probably have, probably has a certain amount of freedoms that his previous deal didn't allow him to. So it's great to see him step in that direction. That's awesome. Well, back to Janet Jackson. Obviously, I said the malfunction, the dress down. That documentary was very one-sided. It allowed for perspective, but you're just gonna have to check out my Twitter thread and see how I felt about that, and even check out the hashtags for Janet, Justice for Janet Jackson, and it was okay to watch, but there wasn't a lot of accountability being held. Let's just say that. It's even difficult to talk about because it was, we had a great sister in there, calling people out and what should be called out. Forgive me, I'm forgetting her name. But she did a great job at trying to defend Janet. But she and Taj Jackson from 3T, Taj and TJ and Tito they had little snippets, but it wasn't enough. Obviously, we will see her voice being shared in the upcoming documentary. She had knowledge about this documentary, but it just seemed like it was still trying to place blame on her for the situation, like she did this with intent. So, or why she had the incident happen with intent. So, I just would strongly, I would like for you to form your own opinions about it. So I would say that you should watch it just to, form your opinion about it. But there are receipts online for you to look at. When the Grammys say that they didn't ban her or they didn't disinvite her, that's a total false allegation there. So you will see some of the perspectives from the white counterparts that are quite disturbing. But yeah, that was a big event for the weekend. I also should suggest that you stream Demita Joe, because that's the album that really took the brunt of the blacklisting that happened to her. So a lot of Jan fam were doing that. Had a great space conversation with Jan fam that night too, after the premiere of the documentary. So we have a lot of thoughts, and we just can't really wait till she shares her story. That's going to be the golden nugget. I've linked an article that by IndieWire that you should definitely read. Everybody else kind of had the voice, and they talk about cognitive dissonance and how that was very much exercised in that documentary, is that you're feeling sorry from the victim, yet you're telling Justin Timberlake that he manned up and he came to the plate. So it's a little tricky. It's a very a very conflicting documentary, to say the least. But they did offer a platform for people to think for themselves. I guess they just put it out there for you to digest it. It was very unfiltered in a way. So yeah. Back to you.
I just want to say before I get into my next piece of news, like that whole situation, like I didn't watch the documentary yet, but the whole situation just really just showcases the misogynoir that exists in the music industry in Hollywood and just the whole entertainment industry. So I don't know, it's pretty upsetting, but like you mentioned, get her a chance to tell her story. So we'll just all have to wait for that to see what happens.
Yeah, and the toxic masculinity surrounding Justin Timberlake, it's they are on a crusade for Justin, as they should be. He exercised a lot of a sector of toxic masculinity in a lot of ways. But I think people are able to change. So hopefully he is a person that will change over time. Until then, it's kind of like he's not getting any play from me. That's my
right.
All right. So, do you have any other news topics to discuss this?
I have a couple more. Mm-hmm. I'll share one more Maxwell one. There's another one, but I'll keep it brief. So on November 16th, he released his new single Off, which is the first single from Night, which is the third and final installment of Black Summer's Night. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. Did you hear the song yet?
Yes, I did. I listened, and I love it because it really is giving a part 3 of Black Summer's Night.
It's giving
I like this what's a great word for that? It's kind of like this atmospheric type of energy that I love it. And it's kind of giving me like, Embryo was like that. It's giving me those types of vibes. So I really like the sounds that he's using. I think it's super cool. And it ages well. Obviously, if I'm comparing it to Embryo, it's aging well. I think those a lot of artists have difficulty trying to integrate older sounds and newer sounds together during this decade. They either go like completely new and kind of abandon their traditional sound. But I think Maxwell does a great job at merging the two and still staying up to date, but also being able to have his traditional style, so you know it's still Maxwell. And he adapts. He just adapts very well to the modern day climate, which is really great because it creates room for timeless music, which is awesome.
I feel the same. That you put that so beautifully, because I feel the same exact way. It's like from the intro, I was like, oh, this is Maxwell. Like, there's no denying that it's him. Like, it's the new him, like the new version of him, but like it's still very much
the evolved version.
Homage, right? It's very evolutionary. So that was very exciting.
And like you said on I can't remember exactly what tweet you said it on, but you love for your artists to evolve, and leaving that room for Maxwell to evolve creatively is very important with any artist, but just to see it in Maxwell's case is great, you know. And yeah,
for sure. So what do you have next? Do you have anything else to share?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to kind of lump these two together because they're pretty short. So I have Britney Spears. She's free. So she's celebrating the end of her conservatorship, which was definitely unjust. We all know about that. She hints at an interview with Oprah coming out. And she's kind of been on a crusade of people not speaking about her conservatorship, like Christina Aguilera, and applauding people who are talking about her situation. And we all know that mental health is a touchy subject for a lot of people, but this is important to shed light to, because can you think of how many other people, you know, outside of her fame were in this situation that were mentally fine, but due to certain standards, they were casted into this bucket of not being able to control what they do and what their assets in life. So not have that freedom. So it's great to hear that she will be using her platform to talk about that and to shed light on her situation. So she celebrated with her fiance. I think she said she had her first glass of champagne, which is great, you know, to have that freedom and exist as a human as she was, you know, she's always been. We've got singer Christopher Williams. His health status has kind of been in the air. I'll be sure had made a statement via Instagram that he was in a coma. What happened is that his team via Instagram, I believe via Instagram post, released that he was in stable condition and that he's not in a coma. So for anybody that's worried about Christopher Williams, he's not, but we should definitely send prayers his way, and hopefully he is in, you know, recovering speedily and the best way he can, pretty much. In the best conditions. So I hope he has all the help that he needs, and he's getting all the funds to get any procedures need done. Chico DeBarge has been arrested for drug possession earlier this week, which is something the DeBarge family has struggled with for a very long time, is drug use. So sending prayers out to him, and hopefully he's on a healing journey right now. So we have, and one more thing, I think Bobby Caldwell, he is not doing well. So he reached his, I think whatever his team reached out via Instagram and via Twitter to send prayers to him. And if you guys don't know him, he's the dude who's saying, won't do for love what you won't do for love. So yeah, we're just camping our angels around those folk who have contributed to music in a great way. So yep, that is my second part of the news. So back to you, Cheyenne.
Okay, so this is my last Maxwell thing. Like it was a very, very newsy week for Maxwell. But the last thing is for Maxwell is that he announced a 25-city U.S. tour, which begins in March 2022. That's like hard to say.
March 2022. Tongue twister.
I know. The pre-sale is November 30th, and the general sale begins December 3rd. So for more information on when Maxwell will be in your city, go to muse.com. So that's the last Maxwell tidbit I have.
All right, great. Well, I have just a few more things. We've got Will Smith. He's released his autobiography, Will, on November 9th. Great read. I especially recommend it for males. My father is actually reading it now. We have a little book club going on, so we've been exchanging that. I recommend that you also watch The Best Shape of My Life and his Oprah interview on Apple TV alongside reading, because they both go hand in hand. And in The Best Shape of My Life, he's writing his book alongside trying to get into the best shape. He just starts growing as a human being. And I think that I strongly suggest that anyone that has been reading headlines and has been buying into this whole Twitter trend of him and Jada and their situation, you should read the book. Everything is better when it comes from the horse's mouth, to be honest. To ignore the first, source of the information is to be sadly mistaken and be misled and misguided. So you should definitely read the book if you want to get some clarification on things. If not, let them live their life. Why are you judging people? They are as much as human beings as we are. So just let them live their life. A lot of things are unfolding in public, not by choice. Right. We just have to remember that it's just getting out. And if they are choosing to share, they're choosing to share their journey. Because how many people do you know that are just like them in this situation or have gone through similar things that they could be helping people with? He drops a lot of gems in this book. Like I don't understand how people are judging it and judging his process as a human being, but that's not for me to understand. But I just definitely, it's a great read. I definitely all those watch list recommendations I recommend are great to go with it, and you just get to understand Will Smith a little bit more, which is great, and he's been super open with us, which is an amazing thing, and he wants to share his journey with the world so he can help other people. Mary J. Blige pushes her albums back to 2022. So we should be expecting at least 3 new singles should be out between now and the new year. According to Mary, and according to an interview that she's done. Mary tells us to keep our eyes and ears out. Keep our ears out for her, but we should also keep our eyes out for her because she's just renewed another season with Power Book 2. So we should definitely be seeing her again on Power. We also should expect her album the first quarter of 2022, which lines up her All-Star Super Bowl performance with the halftime show on Super Bowl halftime show performance, which is kind of a trigger word right now, but
it is
Super Bowl halftime performance with Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem. So if you like to read more about that, you can search that up on your own time. I recommend Rated R&B because they have a lot of great news. And my last piece of news is Tupac Shakur. We have a Wake Me When I'm Free exhibit, museum experience coming to LA, Los Angeles, January 21st, 2022. The tickets are on sale now. So you're able, if you're in the Los Angeles area or anywhere near Los Angeles or willing to travel to Los Angeles, you can definitely get your tickets there. They start at $30, $19 for kids and children, but $30 for adults. And then for the best experience, the tickets go up to $50. So they're actually not that bad. The representatives, the representatives for the estate and the people that have been doing press have been saying that it's part museum, part art installation, and part sensory experience. So that should be interesting. And I'd like to add is that even though the exhibit will travel to other cities, it just starts in Los Angeles. But those details haven't been announced yet, but they are planning to take this around the U.S. I'm not sure if it's around the globe, but just around the U.S. for now. That's what I've heard. So hopefully Baltimore will be a stop because that's one of his stumping grounds. You got to get New York, you got to get Harlem, and you got to get even Oakland. They got to do Oakland. They got to do Marin City. And they got to do Baltimore for sure. So hopefully his stumping grounds are cured because he has a huge fan base in Baltimore for sure. We claim it.
Right. Yes. Okay, so next I just have a few more. My next one is Lenny Kravitz announces Lenny Kravitz, The Formative Years, which is a photo book in collaboration with photographer David Hindley, and that's available for pre-order now. And the book will be shipping worldwide April 2022. So if you're into Lenny Kravitz, keep your eyes out for that. And next up, we have New Edition will be performing alongside New Kids on the Block at the 2021 American Music Awards on Sunday, November 21st, 2021, which is today. Yeah! So that's super exciting. And other New Edition news, a photo featuring all 6 members of New Edition caused excitement across social media platforms. So this was the first time the group's been seen together since 2017. So that's
when the documentary dropped.
Major. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I believe
the biopic, excuse me.
Oh, right. That was the BET Awards, actually. They performed all together. That was the last time we saw all 6 members together. So it's pretty exciting. So they also signed a representation deal with CAA, which is the Creative Arts Agency, earlier this year, and that was announced in around July. So it's an all-encompassing deal. So it includes music touring, theater, literature, TV and film, production, and composing. So we'll just have to see what direction they go in next. It's really
big.
It's super exciting. And then my last piece of news that I have is that it was the 21st anniversary of Musiq Soulchild's iconic I Just Want to Sing album. And this album is one of the many albums born from the neo-soul movement of the mid-90s and early 2000s. So that's exciting. That was actually this past Wednesday. I already know where you're going with it.
I'm not going to bear.
Come on. Not you about to replace him. That was good.
No, you're hyping me up. Stop.
No, that was really good. I was getting into it. So that's my last piece of news for today.
Ooh, well, I should also add that today, which is Sunday, November 21st, is the anniversary of the Miss Erykah Badu's Mama's Gun.
I was seeing the post.
Hey, giving that energy today. You remember that video of that guy? Have you seen that video where he's like, hey. Anyway, but yes,
man.
We love Mama Erykah. That's Auntie. So Uncle,
it's been a very exciting
Soul Child, and Auntie Erykah Badu. Well, that was it for my news, but I also, we'll just put some new albums on your radar, or album singles. We have An Evening with Silk Sonic by Silk Sonic that was released November 12th. So if you haven't listened to that, I think that was last Friday. So if you haven't listened to that, you should definitely listen to it. Highly recommend Blast Off. Just say.
I'm hearing that. I still haven't listened to it, but I'm hearing so many.
I mean, Smoking Out the Window is great, but we've got Bootsy all over the album doing intros and everything. So it is guaranteed funk night. You should get out your afros, get your lava lamps, get your platforms, get your bell bottoms.
Get everything. Get the whole ensemble.
Get your pimp suit. Oh, and cute. Because it's giving that type of vibe. All right. It's giving 90s. I mean, it's giving not 90s. It's giving 70s house party. It could give 90s house party too. Because if you were on the West Coast, they were doing that. You've seen Snoop Dogg. He was throwing it down in the funk of the house party. So yeah, G-Funk style. But it's giving that. And I listened to it, was blown away. Loved it. Did you listen to it, Cheyenne?
Silk Sonic?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it yet, but
I
don't know. I'm waiting for the right time.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably do a review on it.
Yes. I'm waiting for fresh ears.
Yeah. So we'll have a great mix of perspectives there. We have, like we said, Off by Maxwell, which was released November 16th. Still Over It. Summer Walker was released November 4th. Great album, full of features that are amazing. She's got great modern R&B. We've got Best of Me that was released by Alicia Keys October 28th. I don't know if that was on anybody's radar, but definitely good song, pretty good song. I think Raphael Sadiq had something to do with that song. So to Be Alive on the King Richard soundtrack, which you should also go watch. King Richard was released this week, so which features Will Smith, and it's a not a documentary, a biopic about Venus and Serena Williams' father, and they were producers of the film as well. So you should definitely go see that. But this song, Be Alive, is by Beyonce. It was for the soundtrack, which is great. And we have one more song that we should, or one more album that we should keep our eyes peeled for, and we should probably listen to. And that's Adele's album, 30, right, which was released this past Friday, I believe. Friday or Saturday? I think Friday. Yes, it was released Friday, so that was the 19th. This doing wonders right now. And I listened to the first half of it, but I don't want to speak on it. But it's
just yet, right?
It's lovely. It's very lovely. It is Adele. And you know how Adele rocks. So yes. In other news, we also have to send we had a few heavy things to discuss right now. And that's the musical. We have a musical death this week and Wednesday of this week. Young Dolphin rapper, age 36. He was shot and killed in Memphis at a local bakery. And that was November 18th. So the local business that he was murdered in also needs a little bit of support. But before we even get into that, send in love and prayers to his family. Please camp your angels around them, because I know they have to be going through it to lose, or for a mother to lose a son that age. That's very young. And it seems that we are going, the years start getting younger and younger for us to be dying. So, it's just a shame. Do you have any thoughts, Cheyenne? I'm still processing, but it senseless violence is.
Right. I don't want to get too deep into this, but I just our young Black musicians just don't seem to have the longevity of their white counterparts a lot of times. And I just think that's really, really unfortunate. And, it just speaks to a bigger issue of Black versus white, and just the way we are treated in this country. It's just it can be attributed to so many things, from a community perspective, the communities a lot of Black people are growing up in versus their white counterparts. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's a lot that can be said about
the lack of, yeah,
right, the lack of longevity.
Then I mean, he was helping his community. I mean, he from what I've read, I didn't know about him a lot, but when I started versus what I knew about Nipsey already, but when he passed, but it seemed like he was doing so much good for his community.
Right.
And it begs the question, how are we supposed to do good for our communities when you're shooting us in the very homes that we're coming from? How do you expect us to come back?
Right.
Do things when you don't welcome us the same way you did when we were once reciting there, but that's a larger conversation for another day. And I want to keep it light because it's getting a little heavy in here.
It is. It is.
But yeah, then we can't continue this podcast without addressing the injustice that happened in America for this past week.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what the deal is. I'm not even giving I'm not giving his name any airtime because he doesn't deserve that. A man that murdered 3 people at a Black Lives Matter protest got away with convicting murder. Mm-hmm. It's simple as that. But we are here to tell you that we do matter. So
right.
That's
it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's get a little bit off of the heavy kick and let's get into, this is kind of a heavy episode, to be honest, because concert safety is not even, this is not a glorious topic to talk about, but it needs to be discussed.
It does. There's no denying the importance of this conversation.
Yeah, we got to talk about what happened at Astroworld, since it impacted the music industry very much so. We are here to, dispel some rumors, or some false allegations for certain artists dying at certain concerts that they didn't die at, just to justify a situation that has no justification for it.
Absolutely.
First, I want to just send my condolences to it's like 10 people now that have passed away from that incident, right? 10?
I believe so.
I think it's 10. The numbers rise. It was like 8, and then there was a few people.
Many injured.
It's bless the people that have had injuries from that concert and that are traumatized from that concert. My uncle was actually there doing security. I'm glad he's okay, but that hit home for me too. So, from his perspective, they were doing everything that they could. It was really on the venue. It was too crowded. And, money talks before people's safety, which is very unfortunate. But my views are, I'm very conflicted about the situation. There is a certain amount of accountability that has to be held by Travis Scott. I do believe that.
Yeah.
There's accountability that has to be held on his management side, but he should have been more informed about the situation, for sure. He should have been more informed about the venue and put safety as a priority on his list. If you knew that, if you have this impact on the music world and that people are going to show up, Michael Jackson actually came into the conversation unwillingly.
As he always does.
Exactly. And there was a claim that like 27 people died at one of his concerts, which is false. Michael Jackson actively saw people passing out. There's receipts for this. If you check out his home videos, TV special that he had, what was it, 2003, 2002, something around those lines?
Yeah.
He, back in the 2000s, I'm pretty sure I don't have that year correct, but whoever, exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
He actively had ambulance on the side because he knew that there was a possibility. He saw people fainting. He knew people didn't want to take a seat during his concerts because it's pandemonium. He had an active ambulance. He had tents, huts for people that were passing out at his shows. Can't remember how many faints he had a night, but there was always people there to actively attend to people.
There was always paramedics available.
So to bring him into this situation when you had knew this was going to be a packed arena, knowing the ticket sales alone, there's accountability for that, in that you should have took the same precautions that Michael Jackson did when he saw all those people knowing that it's going to be a large amount of people at your concerts and people are passing out in this pandemonium, which is bound to happen at a concert for somebody as much as large or having a huge magnitude in music as he does. You need to take the necessary steps, and you need to make sure safety is a concern for you, because these are people that are coming to see you.
Right.
You need to make sure that your business is in order. That's what it boils down to. Every artist should make sure that their stuff is in order. That is basically what it boils down to. And this is not to say that his venue does not have the venue that he chose they have a huge liability. But instance, they are the victims are justified in suing Travis Scott as well, in conjunction with the venue. The venue has a lot of problems. The venue has had a long history of problems dealing with security. So that's some research that his team should have brought to his attention.
Yeah.
I do appreciate how artists like SZA and Tiana Taylor, they were making sure everybody was okay. But they've been doing that for concerts. There's artists that have been making sure that everybody was okay, like Michael Jackson, like I said. But, since everybody is really on eggshells right now and very displeased with what happened, they were taking extra precautions to do that. And I do appreciate that, because that opened their eyes to a situation where they're like, wait, we need to make sure that our fans or that our attendees are okay, But that's kind of like my short take on it. It was a very disturbing situation. And I think a lot of it had to do with us being back outside, being in a post-COVID world. We were socially distant, so we couldn't have that type of atmosphere. And it drove a lot of people out of their mind. It did. And so to be in a place that's semi-normal, it must have meant the world to them. And a lot of people just acted out. I mean, understandably so. I mean, I'm not saying it's justified, but, peculiar that we were put in for the past 2 years. So to actually have a point where we could attend concerts, I guess that's where some people were just getting a little out of hand. And
yeah.
I mean, what can we do? I mean, that's normal human behavior to be caged for a while. And what do they call it? Panoramic. To be, caged for a while, then to actually come out the woodworks and be at a festival for once. What response were you expecting? Is my thing. That crime rates have been up the roof since we started. Guess you could say we entered the post-COVID era. It's not really post-COVID because COVID is still here, but our new normal, let's call it our new normal. It's been difficult to navigate. So this whole situation is just unfortunate. It really is. I feel like there could have been a lot of prevention methods put in place, but you can't cover everything. And then there's people that don't honestly care about certain things. So what are you going to do about that? I mean, that's on the individual. They have to live with that.
Yeah.
What are your
my thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I believe what happened is that there was like a gate that was pushed, and it was like a whole stampede of people who like rush up to the stage.
Yeah.
And like were like colliding. I believe that's what happened.
Trampling people.
There's a certain level of accountability that has to be held for the type of music we're talking about. Like, what is the message? Because music gets in your head. I don't know Travis Scott's music. I don't listen to his music. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But the type of music definitely has an influence on your behavior. Like, there's no denying that.
Mm-hmm. That's scientifically proven.
Exactly. Like, I've heard, I saw this video of this girl who went to a Travis Scott concert like years ago. Mm-hmm. And allegedly, let me say allegedly, because I don't know. Allegedly, he said, if y'all not ready to die, then you don't need to be here. So if that's what the type of behavior he encourages.
Words are powerful.
For years, like, this is not new. This is like years back. If this is the type of behavior he encourages at his concerts, and the influence artists have on their fans. So
I did not know that.
This would be some like a deep dive on like Travis Scott and like the type of behavior he encourages at his concerts. because like artists have authority over their audience. So if he was like, guys, relax, calm down, everybody relax, calm down, they would have listened to him because that's his audience. And artists know how to command an audience. Like, I've seen it. We've seen it with Michael.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it with many other artists who say, y'all need to calm down, y'all need to relax. And they listen to their audience. Mm-hmm. The audience listens to the artist. So part of me feels like there's something that could have been said or done on his part. Like, obviously we all have free will, and they would have done what they wanted to do either way.
Right.
But if he stopped the show and stepped in and maybe said something, maybe something could have been, the tragedy could have been prevented. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I just feel like artists need to recognize their influence and realize that their words hold weight.
That's an important point to make. Like, that is very true, because he really could have had the power. But I don't know if the crowd was so it looked like a large cloud. So I don't know if he was able to see that.
Something they made sure he was safe. They made sure he was safe.
Yeah. They made sure that he was safe. I'm not sure. They made sure that Kylie was safe too, because Kylie, I remember I saw this video, and she had this video, the ambulance was right in the center of the crowd, and it was all these people around the ambulance truck. Mm-hmm. So she had to see something, but it bothers me a little bit. I know that she's pregnant, but there a lot of headlines were like, she's okay. And I'm glad that she's okay, because she is pregnant. She is with child. But what about the other people that are being stomped on?
What about the people who paid their money, their hard-earned money, or their parents' money, whoever's money, to come see? They didn't come to lose their lives. Yeah. They came to see a show, to enjoy themselves. And there's a lot of people who didn't get that. They didn't get what they paid for.
Exactly. And then, you go to these venues and you believe that they have your best interest in mind, because you're going to these venues, and venues usually have top flight security. I remember every venue I go to, we couldn't even pull out a blunt and smoke weed. They'd just be like, no, put it out. Like, security is just filed on, either the front stage and the parameters of the building. So, but I mean, of course, I'm talking about more intimate venues, but this also goes for larger venues. When I was at Royal Farms Arena, larger venue, top flight security. There was a whole process to even get into the stadium. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like going through TSA.
Yeah.
So, and that was for Janet Jackson. So when you have that much control, and that much control as an artist, so much to the point that it's frightening. And like you said, they will do what the entertainer or entertainers request them to do. Mm-hmm. That says something. And that says that I'm trying to formulate the words to do these victims justice, because I don't want to misspeak in any way and give any misinformation on my part. But my thing is that, there's people that will defend Travis Scott and be like, well, he didn't know what was going on. He had no knowledge of this. That may be true to some extent, but at the same time, you have to, you might have not known it at the time. And I know he didn't foresee this event.
Of course.
But like I said, there's steps to prevent things like this. And things happen. We are all aware that things happen, and we are people and we make mistakes. So I'm going to hold him accountable for this situation. I'm holding everybody on his team accountable for the situation, because it never should have happened. But I'm not going to condemn him and be
of course not.
Oh my God, he's the worst human being ever. I don't know him like that to do that. I don't know him as a person. All I know is what he portrays himself as to the world. But even that's not true 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. That's his entertainment act. We don't know how he's, and I'm not defending him. Do not mistake me as defending him, because that I am not doing.
Yeah.
What I am doing is acknowledging him as a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm acknowledging the victims as people too. And he had a fault in that. He failed those people. He failed his audience. He failed his audience. He had failed his fans. He failed us music lovers, because now when we go to venues, we can't relax.
There's a certain level of anxiety anyway.
I have anxiety,
anyway.
even exactly. So to tack that on it's just unfortunate, because now we have to, I mean, I was already on guard before, like you said. It's a public place. You always have to be on guard, but with a lot of people, because people are willing to do anything at any time.
Anything, especially for their favorite artists.
Exactly. And if you've been in the front row like I have, they will try and jump over you, try to push you, do all this stuff. I felt the weight of everybody behind me on my back, because people just push. They push. My body has been slammed against a fence, like from them pushing me. And it's painful. It's not the best situation all the time. But I was so laser sharp on the artists that I wanted to see that I was able to ignore a lot of it. But concert safety is a serious topic. And it's something, I mean, like, even in my concert experience, I had great security, but I was still being mushed. Mm-hmm. There's that certain etiquette that I like about now, like going to see older artists and stuff.
Absolutely.
That people are chill. We are still, I'm like, you talk about like wineries, like the DC winery, city wineries and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Go to the Howard Theater. It's like seating and stuff. So people are chill.
That is such a mellow
vibe. Yes. When you go to these newer concerts, like I went to see the Internet and I went to see SZA. Those are like the two people that I'm newer that I saw live. Mm-hmm. Somebody else too, I can't remember. Man, those were the most anxiety-ridden concerts that I've been to. And it was fine after SZA came out, but before and after, it's so much pandemonium going out because they're waiting for the artist. And even those were very mild compared to, hip hop concerts that people have gone to and all of that. But I guess it's just, like you said, it's based on the music. It's based on the vibe that's given. It's, it can get a little, but for the most part, it get a little rah-rah. For the most part, my experience has been good. But I just, like I said, I just like going to older musicians' concerts because everybody's there. Everybody's typically people that are there are older and they're not on a tripping level. Don't get me wrong. There's some special cases. You can't stop from somebody from doing some crazy things, right? But like you said, that begs the question, what is it the type you're saying this? So you think the type of music is really like promoting the behavior or the type of energy that you're getting. So shouldn't there be some type of protocol with security or with the artist that they know, well, hey, so I have this pattern with my music. I know it may not be necessarily what I'm saying, but it could also be the rhythm in which triggers certain chemicals in their brain to make them act a certain way. And I know that my music gets them pumped and they'll be willing to do anything and everything at any second, right? Because there's what do we do to make sure that there is a protection against what could happen, in those scenarios? Like if you know that that's possible, what should we look at, or what should artists really be involved in the venues? Usually they have somebody to take care of it, but should they be more involved in the venue protocols and understanding what's going on? Because my guess is that Travis Scott just said, I'm signing off on this paperwork, and the venue, scoping out the venue, that wasn't his priority. Like that wasn't something that he was briefed upon, is that the business people that he had, or his managers and, everybody that was working under that team, they had knowledge. He just had the professionals take care of that, and he was there to produce the art. Do you think it's the lack of artists being involved in their concert protocols? Like, do you think they should be more involved in them now?
I think that
the situation, like Michael kind of was.
I think that might have something to do with it. Maybe he wasn't as involved in the process and like the legal part of it, but also another part of it, I think, is compassion. And I think, I don't want to speak on all artists because I don't know all artists, but I think sometimes there could be a lack of compassion for their audience. It's like they don't realize that their audience and their fans and their supporters, whatever you want to call it, is their livelihood. Like, you're paying these, like, we're putting our money towards these artists so they can live their lives and produce more art for us. And I don't think everyone thinks of it that way.
Yeah.
If they're like, these people are paying to see what I'm doing, so I'm above them. And I don't know Travis's philosophy on his audience. That's not what I'm saying. I'm speaking from a general perspective. I don't think, there are some artists who value their audience, and then there's others who don't. And I don't know who's who, but I think it's obvious a lot of times in like these types of situations. And I'm not blaming Travis for the entire situation, because obviously some things are out of our control, like you mentioned.
Right. And we tend
but
to
even his response, like even his response or lack of response, like it just shows where his heart is.
Right. It was more on him instead of the victims. It was like, and you know, I know there's this thing of people wanting a direct response and not something from your team, like not something contrived, right? So I think he got in the crossfire from that, and not, it doesn't take much to just say what's from the heart.
Exactly.
And I know that reaction might have been from the heart, but you have to formulate words, and you have to do it in a way that is not trying to be sympathetic towards you. You have to, like the way I'm sitting in front of a camera right now and delivering my thoughts to you, none of this is contrived. It may have I might have thought about some things, and over time I'm able to formulate sentences on them. But when you have a fan base, they're able to see right through you. People in general can tell when something is sincere. Body language gives it all away. So I can tell that he was sincerely in shock in that video, and he had no idea to deal with it. But instead of rush and put out make a video to be authentic like that, you didn't show any empathy. So it was best to sit for a second, figure out what's going on in your camp, and then formulate a response. Not a contrived response, but a response that comes from your heart. Forget management. What are you trying to say to your fans? You have direct access to your fans. You have direct access. That's what about this internet age, is that you have direct access to your fans.
They would have to go on like the news before. They would have to go on like to make a statement. Exactly. Not to make a statement. Like you said,
and half of the time it was contrived and management put together.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Or they were bound to legal constrictions and they could not say as much. But even when Michael Jackson made his statements, they were coming from the heart.
Oh, absolutely.
He might have wrote them down in some fashion, but there was times where he looked at that camera and you can see he memorized what he said, but there were things that he had to say legally. And if you have to say that legally, then that's fine, because we all are constructed. You know, the law is a thing. We understand that we have to say allegedly. We have to make sure we frame things in a certain way, but make sure that what you're saying is 100% truthful.
Yeah.
You know,
all he had to say was, I was irresponsible and I apologize.
Accountability.
it. We're not expecting you to take the fault for the entire situation because obviously they can do whatever they want, but it's your show. They're your fans. It's your audience.
It's the accountability factor. It really is.
Exactly.
And it's like you can't do it in a way that we're trying to be sympathetic to you. Now that is pitiful.
Yeah.
The victims are in pain right now.
Right.
You can go back and make money anytime. Not so sure how much he can make after this incident because it is a massive stain on his career. But there's still people that will be willing to buy your music, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Now, the likelihood of amount of people attending a Travis Scott concert, I am not completely sure about that. It's very eye-opening for me, for one, because it's like we all really could have easily been in that situation. So I've been on those fences. So it reminded me of like how people go crazy during Black Friday and they start trampling people and doing all those situations over something that is not even like a material or something that they can't even touch. Because realistically, you cannot touch. Well, you can touch him if you go about it the very wrong ways. But in essence, security would have got you, I'm pretty sure. But they have this way of looking at him as a ethereal figure.
Yeah. Like larger,
untouched, larger than life, untouchable type of situation. So I don't know. I'm not willing to die over. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for that. I'm not willing to die over an artist, period. Okay, I value life too much to die over somebody.
We love our artists.
Harm other people to get to somebody.
Okay. As much as we love our artists, at the end of the day, we have a certain self-awareness and a certain, I guess, dignity. Because, like, what does it really boil down to? What is that person providing you that you would put someone else in harm's way?
Somebody will say, oh, their music saved my life. That is understandable. But for you to kill somebody or to injure somebody over that is not unexplainable.
Like our desires can't outweigh our judgment. And I think a lot of times in those situations,
very well put.
Imagine like you see an artist that you adore. I mean, obviously I'm going to be on like a heightened level of energy, but if someone next to me falls down, let me help you up. Oh my God, are you okay? Like, I'm not going to like say, oh, one's down, I'm going to keep running forward. Like, I don't know. It's just something about the thought process or the lack of thought process.
Yeah. My mother had said something to me earlier today. And it reminded me of this is that you can't expect everybody to have that same compassion.
Yeah, that's definitely dangerous.
Everybody is built different. They're raised differently. They're a product of their environment. So however they're feeling that day, could be something that happened that day that felt them, they felt the need to do what they did. But I think us as concert goers, I think this is also a great mirror to reflect on ourselves as well, because there's a certain, this might be controversial, but I hope it's not, because this is just truth. But there's a certain amount of accountability that has to go with the people that were applying pressure on that gate as well.
Absolutely.
So it's like, where do you stop? We have to have a respect for one another when we're in a concert atmosphere. I mean, I think, a lot of people are like, well, I'm pretty sure they want this to happen too, because we're here and, we want to see such and such. So we're just going to do this anyway. But that's not always the case. Some people are just there to have a good time, and you can't be reckless like that. I'm pretty sure everybody was there to have a good time.
Right.
That was their agenda. They wanted to see Travis, or, you wanted to see whoever. it shouldn't be a matter of life or death if you don't get that close to the stage.
Right.
It shouldn't.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that just goes back to morals and how you view life in general. But I hope this situation changes a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or it makes people reflect. And I mean, shout out to the people that were already having systems in place for this. I mean, that's great on your part. I can only hope that other artists that follow or try to attempt to do something like to this magnitude. I know the Snoop Dogg, he's having that festival in Las Vegas, that R&B kind of driven festival, with a lot of great people. So hopefully there will be some precautions taken there too. Hopefully that will be, since this happened, they just sharpen their tool a little bit and be like, all right, well, since this happened, we need to make sure we need to take extra care of this area, or, I just hope that this is awaken some people's eyes for sure. In long story short, that's just what I hope this believes. And I hope that the families that were victims of this circumstance, I hope they get all the justice that they deserve, whether it be legally, medically, I hope they're taken care of with amazing by amazing professionals, and hope that they can recover. For the people that unfortunately lost their lives, I just hope their families can move on from this incident and get justice as well, and just have some type of content in their lives, because things will never be the same for them.
Right.
It will never.
I'm just hoping to heal from the situation, and
feeling a lot of healing energy. It put everybody in shock globally, not even just America. It made global news too, I believe. So, yeah. You have any more final thoughts about this situation?
Not really. I just hope that it's unfortunate that this has to become like a learning, like a teachable moment, because there's people who lost their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But I just would say, for like concert goers and fans of artists, never allow your love or adulation for an artist to outweigh your care for someone else.
Mm-hmm. For humanity.
Who falls down, help them up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just keep enjoying yourself. Like, stop what you're doing and help the next person. Right. This doesn't be something that occurs at a concert where everyone's supposed to be. We're all like, when you're in an audience, I feel like everyone's one. Like, you're all coming together to see an artist. So I just feel like, and like, if anything like this happens again, or in a situation where things get a little chaotic, just be mindful that everyone wants to make it home. Everyone wants to tell their friends and family about the wonderful experience they had. So just keep that in mind. That's all I have to say about it. I just don't think something like this is something that should become a casual event.
We don't want concerts to become the antithesis of music, which is the meaning of music, which is to bring unity and togetherness.
Absolutely.
We don't want the antithesis of that. If that's the case, we could have chosen other routes, but concerts are supposed to be a companion to to form a complete circle of the music experience.
Yes.
We've got artwork, we've got the music, we got the music itself, we've got the artwork and the graphics to go with it. Then we have the actual concert live experiences that brings everything together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to disrupt that circle in any way.
Right.
It shouldn't be a semicircle. It should be a whole ordeal, a whole experience that we project music as. We don't want music to become this negative ball of energy, you know? So it's a little difficult to try to maintain safety, but we can all just do the best we could. Like, we can't prevent everybody from passing away, unfortunately, but as long as you're making making the effort to do so, that's really what matters. In this case scenario, it looked like it was slim to none effort made to, at least not on the venue's part. By security, yes, they did everything that they could do. But from the venue's part, it's not looking too good for them. Allegedly, let me say that, because I don't want any defamation in character suits or anything, but I do have the freedom to speech. So if you want to arrest me, arrest everybody on Twitter.
Right. Exactly.
Because they're pretty much saying the same thing, and the news and the evidence is pointing to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
this was very. It's necessary, though.
Necessary. I think this was necessary dialogue for sure. For sure.
Especially if we plan on going to concerts in the future. I mean, that's the highest form of connection with your artist is to see them live. So this is definitely, I'm glad we had this conversation, as emotional as it is. I'm glad we were able to speak on this.
Well, let's do this. How about since you're going to your concert next week, correct?
The week after.
The week after.
I think.
Right. Okay. So yeah, sorry, because this is Thanksgiving week. Woo! The week after next.
That's okay.
So the week after.
It's all jumbled together.
Right? This is the dates. After next, you're going to your first concert since the pandemic, right?
Yeah, my first one.
I'm attending my first concert in January. So I'm going to see John B. So
right.
But you're going first. So I want to hear
everything.
Mine's is more intimate. It's seating. It's the city winery. So it's
same.
Okay.
It's Philadelphia.
Stage, are you? Are you right in stage? Because I am.
Yes. It's not even expensive. It's not bad.
It's not. My 2 tickets together were like 120. It wasn't bad.
Not bad at all.
No. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But you're coming up. So let's see what do you want to see? Because now we're in the vaccination era, you know. So face mask, no face mask. What are you trying to see? Because I know that City Winery has a mask mandate. So, but I'm interested to hear what you're comfortable with and what you want to see or what you hope to experience during that concert. So go on.
It's December 7th, and I'm seeing Eric Benet again. So they're doing vaccination card checks, or if you're not vaccinated, you have to provide a negative COVID test 72 hours before the
event,
the show. Yeah, the show. So I'm going to be wearing my mask because I wear a mask anyway. I have to wear a mask at work, so I pretty much wear my mask wherever I go because it's just, I'm used to it. And
mask up, people.
Why not wear a mask? Like, it's not hurting me in any way. So
you can still catch COVID with the vaccine.
So I'm going to be wearing my mask. I mean, I saw him at the City Winery in 2019. That was actually my last concert before the pandemic, and this is going to be my first concert. It's crazy. So I'm not worried. It's a little nerve-wracking a little bit, of course, because this is like the first time. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm expecting everyone to be pretty chill. I mean, there's seating and everything, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Gonna have a glass of wine.
Last time I was like, I'm just gonna be fully in the experience. I'm not eating, I'm not drinking anything. I'm just gonna, that's how it was last time. So I'll probably stick with that same thing.
Is the food
You can like,
good?
I've never tried it.
I don't even want to eat in front of John B. What?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to be fully,
What
like,
am
I'm
I supposed to do?
engaged.
That's what you say, boo.
You need stuff in your face or something.
That's what you say. He's like, I do. Like, what am I supposed to do that?
I don't know. For me, like, I want to pay attention and like be fully, like, I met him last time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got to meet him. We took a picture together.
Is he a cool person?
He's nice. He's cool. So like, I was like, I have my picture. I'm putting my phone away. I'm being engaged in this show right now. It was very nice. But
I'm mad at myself sometimes because I don't even film when I'm so engaged.
Sure.
And I'm like, dang, I kind of want some footage, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm very much, like Prince was like, no phones. Yeah. So I'm like that. I don't mind, but I really would like some footage of the concert. So sometimes I'm like,
looking back, you're like,
the first half, and I'll be like, okay, done.
I might do a little bit of report, like just a little, just to have it as like a memento. But yeah, I like to be engaged. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. Well, yeah. I'm like, I haven't been to, this is my first time to the city winery. So if it's a chill venue, like you say, then it'll be great.
Yeah, it's really calm. It's not bad.
It looks chill. It's just like, got a bar in there. They've got the seating looks nice and spaced out and pretty good,
yeah, it's nice.
Mm-hmm. So I think it was a good venue. Fun fact, I was actually supposed to go see Sheila E. There, but pandemic. So
did it get rescheduled or anything?
I was gonna buy the tickets and I just ended up not doing it because the pandemic happened. So I was like,
she'll be back.
I think it didn't get did it get rescheduled? It might have. I don't think it did. I think she ended up doing some other dates, but then she ended up getting COVID, I think.
Man.
I don't know. It was a very, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it was like, but I don't think it had anything to do with that date. But she ended up, when she was going on tour, I think she did end up getting COVID. Yeah, she did. She did. Cause I think she put an Instagram video up. It was like maybe some months ago. But yeah. So COVID wasn't as bad when she got it, but if you were vaccinated and stuff. But yeah, I don't think it might have gotten rescheduled. I don't know. I wasn't trying to go either way.
Especially if it's like right at the beginning.
Yeah, I was like, ain't no telling. I was like, we didn't even know when we were going back to campus. So I was like, ain't no way I'm going to sit in a public place.
I've been in this for a minute.
Now I'm saying, now I'm like, okay, it's getting a little better. So I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. Like I still wasn't comfortable a few months ago. Well, I wasn't comfortable at all still. And I'm vaccinated. So, but I'm like, even though I'm vaccinated, I'm not comfortable being in a situation like that. I just think it's too much people. So, but now since we're on a roll and we're doing pretty good. And I've been exercising, all the precautions that I need to
Me too.
Follow. So I know I will definitely be wearing a mask, probably too.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So depending on how I'm feeling, to be honest. But yeah, I will definitely be wearing a mask. I just hope everybody is respectful of your choice and our choices to protect ourselves, because there are some people that do get mad when you wear masks, depending on where you are. They'll be like, you're not vaccinated or whatever. I'm like, yes, I'm vaccinated. I just don't want
COVID.
Yeah, I don't want COVID. Exactly. Simple that.
Simple as that.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's my precaution. So I just hope people are respectful, and my distance, they're respectful for at least just like, you don't have to be like super 6 feet, but if you could stay in that range, it'd be,
Right.
I was a germaphobe before this, so.
Ew. I always say that. I'm like, before this, I wasn't even
This
messing with all.
just made me worse. To be honest, I was like, but
You want to do our song of the week?
Yes, let's give our song. You want to go first?
Yeah. So mine's Maxwell's new song. Of course, I've been listening to it on repeat. Like every time it's over, I'm like, oh, I want to hear it again. I can't wait to hear like the rest of the album. So that's super exciting. So that's it. That's my song of the week. What's yours? Or album?
My album of the week. My album I've been listening. Of course, I've been streaming Demita Joe this entire weekend for support of Janet Jackson, right, and standing in solidarity with her. But I would have to say that my song for the week, hard because I
know it's hard when you're everything. You listen to everything and not like one thing in particular.
Oh, you know what I've been listening to? I've been kind of listening to the Mo Money soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
And I've really been loving My Dear by Mint Condition. And I've been listening to the New Style. So those 2 songs off of that album, which is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the New Style, which is like an instrumental. But it's cool because it's like it's a real like, it's like, I like house music, so it reminds me like a house dance song. So I was like, yeah.
That's a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
I don't really hear that soundtrack.
And it's crazy because it has so many hits. Like hits. There's so many jams on it because they're technically not hits, but
right.
But I saw this tweet where they were like people that are with charts and numbers, and then people, and they were just staring at the wall, and it was ugly. And then there was people that listen to music and are listening to the elements of music, and it was like this beautiful landscape. That's me.
Yeah.
So it's just been that the Mo Money soundtrack and Demita Joe I've been listening to all weekend, and My Dear is just very just aesthetically pleasing.
I need to listen to more Mint Condition. They're a really good group.
Mm-hmm. It's got that Galaxy feel on that
that we mentioned earlier.
It's very yeah, like how often Maxwell, it's got that, it's very like a Prince ballad kind of too. Yes. So it's kind of cool.
I gotta get into that.
Yes, I'll send you the song because you need to listen to that. But yeah, well, this is our second episode. It was a little heavy, and now we're lighthearted and happy. So hopefully you got something out of this, and not just the negative stuff, but some valid points and some valid reasons. And obviously this is current news, so stuff is still developing, and things we say could be inaccurate down the line.
We're basically just speaking from our heart.
What we know, and from what our heart and what's current now. So don't hold this against us or hold it to us in that aspect. But we pretty much did our research in that regard. So we're pretty sure what we're saying is completely accurate. I know I am, and I know Cheyenne is, because we did some research. So we were following the news. So but we just want to put that disclaimer out.
Right.
Guys. And we would love to know what you guys actually think about the situation. It affected all of us, not just the 2 of us here. It affected everybody. So, and I know a lot of people were emotional on Twitter. So I would love to see what you guys, what your thoughts are in the comments below or on our social media. You can hit us up. And you can also watch our first episode if you're just getting new to us and you're just seeing us, or if you're just listening to us, because this is our audio visual podcast, right, Cheyenne? Tell us where they can see us or where they can find that video. Tell us, where are we available?
So on Twitter and Instagram, we're under Curly Old Souls.
Mm-hmm.
And on YouTube, we are under Curly Headed Old Souls Podcast.
Yeah.
So search that up, or you can go to our Linktree, which is available in the Twitter and Instagram bios.
Mm-hmm.
You can check us out, and all our links will be there. SoundCloud, everything. You can find everything in one spot.
And while you're there, give us a follow. Give us a follow together as a podcast. Give us a follow individually.
Mm-hmm.
India at India. Sorry, I said at India. I'm always doing so good. Why I mess up? Okay. Yeah, I was right. At India Soulful Haze on Instagram. At Planet India M on Twitter. And you can follow Cheyenne. Go on and say your tag, sister girl. Go ahead.
But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Bops and Blackness. And yeah, I post a whole bunch of stuff. So follow me on there.
Yes. She's our music content. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna call her the archives department. I'm just gonna, because she truly is.
Thank you.
I'm the collector. She's the archive. But yeah, follow us there, and you'll see us. You'll see our thoughts on Twitter as well. So if you're loving our thoughts here, transport yourself to Twitter. And
it's constant thoughts on Twitter. So
stream of
follow us on that. Stream of consciousness. Yes. To the
exactly. So, yeah. And this was our episode for the week. We will actually be putting some up. We didn't forget about Dangerous, guys. We didn't forget about Dangerous. You know us moonwalkers. We are not forgetting about the 30th anniversary of Dangerous coming up. We know. So there will be a little something for y'all. A little something.
Yes.
A little something. Content for the masses, for the moon.
So make sure you're following us on Instagram to see those little snippets.
Because if you don't follow us, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. So stay tuned. But yeah, like that. And we're out. Love you guys. We'll see you soon. We'll hear you. Well, you'll hear us soon, and we'll see you soon, YouTube. Oh, before I forget, click that notification bell. Add a comment. Subscribe on YouTube. Do all of it.
Yes. Do all the things.
Like, please share with a friend. We appreciate you guys very much. We do. We love you guys. So thank you so much for the support. Like I said in the beginning, we love you guys. So it means the world to us. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon. So bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.